action, would it? Good evening, Brad.
I just got here, so I'm gonna.
Okay.
We'll have to reprint them all. It's better that way.
Well,
I'd like to call the January meeting of the Jefferson School Board to order. Will you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As I'm here at the meeting, and I will do roll call. Terry Kamladi,
Here. Could you hear me?
yes, thank you. Fred,
Okay.
I'm here.
Tracy Rowe, not present yet, okay. Give me a minute. Kay Jones, Vice Chair, is present, and we have a vacancy for seat number 3. Tracy Rowe, are you present now? Tracy, are you present now?
It's busy with it.
It's,
Got that IT spare.
Tracy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Kay.
Okay, super, you're present. At this point, we'll go to item 3 on our agenda. Review, adjust, and approve the agenda and the consent items.
I'm getting there, Kay.
That's fine.
Take K.
Yes?
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the consent items in the agenda as presented.
Okay, that's a motion made by Terry Kamladi. And do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Fred Sotomayor seconds the motion. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll take a vote. Terry,
Aye.
Fred,
Aye.
Tracy,
Aye.
Kay, aye. Motion carries. All right, and we are down to our reports, financial statement and bills. Any comments or questions from the board? Fred has none. Terry,
I have none.
Tracy?
I don't have any.
I would like to refer to our sheet here. Have the payroll reports been filed and all payroll liabilities been paid timely?
Yes, they have. I just finished the fourth quarter of 2021, getting ready to print the W-2. So yes, they are all balanced and filed on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions from the board?
I have one.
Okay,
Does the adopted budget reflect the expected expenditures?
It does. It does, yes. If you look at your financial report that I provided, the left side is the budget column and then our actuals and then what we're projecting to spend. It's actually the second page of financials for those of the expenditures. Yeah. And I just wanted to make sure that you did see the fourth page of the financials.
yes,
It is December 31 to 2020, so it's comparing December and December. So,
thank you.
any other questions?
No. All right, then we're ready to move to superintendent update.
Good evening.
Okay.
Yes,
Excuse me. I just noticed something, Kay, and I don't know if it needs to be, it came through the consent agenda items. It has to do with the enrollment. And if you look at the calendar, the report and the dates don't line up. I'm moving to it. The report states that district employment by grade level as of January 3rd, 2021. We are currently in 2022.
okay, so all we need to do is change the J22, make sure we get, and then F, and then January, the red needs to be 21, and the black needs to be 22s from there on out.
Correct.
That's a correction we'll just need to make.
Or are these the actual numbers and the dates are wrong, or are these numbers?
Just the numbers on, just the year for January. January 20 and January 21 need to go to January 21 and January 22. So that's the only correction. Thank you for making that correction. And at this point, we'll hear Superintendent Kaker's report.
Vice Chair Jones, members of the board, good evening. We are recently back from a restorative winter break. And I begin tonight with where we left off a week or two before break. We were using our Wednesdays after school staff development time, focused on supporting the mental health of our staff and checking in with them to see how they're doing emotionally. As I reported last December, our staff have been struggling, and we wanted to look for ways to support them. We changed our Wednesday professional development schedule to be more focused on care and connect, and time allotted for supporting the emotional needs of our staff. We asked our TOSA, Justin Ricecook, to lead a virtual professional development in which staff were able to receive ideas for support and were given an outlet to describe how they were feeling and doing. And he's in the process of, we'll be circling back with staff the next couple of weeks to follow up with that, with those results, and Justin will be carrying on that conversation with them. We also were purposeful in ensuring our staff spent time in community with each other right prior to break, and they've had so few opportunities to come together as a group, and so there was some celebration and time for being together right before winter break that week before. Many of our staff, as I've reported to the board previously, were tired and stressed, but we're hoping with break we are more renewed and ready to come back, although we are in the midst of a surge, which I'll get into more here in a minute. As you know, each member of the staff received appreciation and a monetary gift from Jefferson Baptist Church, which was really appreciated. We have a lot of support, and there's a lot of people praying for us and our staff on an ongoing basis. And just wanted to say publicly, thank you to Jefferson Baptist Church. We greatly appreciate their both their acknowledgement, the kind gift, and the words of and prayers of encouragement. It's a difficult time to be in education at all levels, but a little thanks goes a long way. I know everyone felt it. Our booster vaccination clinic was our most successful to date. In fact, we served 144 people that day. We had so many people come to us and thank us for putting this on, many of whom were staff and other community members. When I walked in there, I saw a few staff members, but mostly elderly people, a few Latino families, and other community members. We were able to serve our staff in an important way and avoid having large numbers of people miss work potentially due to any side effects, since it was done on the Friday after school before break, and people were able to go home and recover. I should also note that since it was a concern expressed, that we are not aware of any youth who came without parent permission. On January 3rd, came much like a tropical storm hits the Atlantic, and that we are now dealing with an Omicron variant. As you've seen, I have sent 2 important messages to families and staff, letting them know that we need to prepare for moving to an online instructional model for a temporary period of time. I believe it is important that we think ahead and are planful so that if we need to go online and learning and doing that model, we can do so quickly and efficiently. I want to be clear here that we desire remaining open and in person. And that is, we're trying everything we can to maintain that model. As you heard last week, however, there are conditions I call triggers that would compel us to move in an online model. As I shared my message and you heard, one of our primary triggers is staffing and being able to have enough adults to cover classrooms for duration of someone's illness or quarantine period. So if we are experiencing large numbers of staff being out to the point where we can't move other staff around or combine classrooms, then that's a trigger for us for moving in that direction. Currently, we can handle a certain amount of absences each day with substitutes or by diverting other staff into classrooms or combining classrooms. But should the absences exceed our ability to cover classrooms, we'll have to adjust to that reality. And I need you to know right now that we're very close to that reality. We have some substitute teachers and we are utilizing staff currently in other assigned classrooms. We are already combining rooms. We have administrators covering classrooms. We have our counselors covering classrooms. We have several, a significant number of staff that are out, and we are just about at that threshold. Another trigger is if we have a certain percentage of our students out due to COVID. Staff are not able to teach both online and in person. So if you're trying to maintain a classroom and teaching instructionally in real time, and half or more than half of your class is out online, it's really difficult for staff to try to plan and prepare and deliver instruction to both groups. We'll have to see how many students are becoming infected or placed in quarantine and make a determination from there. Other possible scenarios include having large numbers of bus drivers or custodians or food service staff ill. And without our support services, we also cannot run our schools. And we met recently with our transportation and our food service and all leadership in the district to be able to talk about what ifs. If this happens, then we need to be prepared. So everyone should be well communicated with at this point. In the meantime, administrators are all making preparations for going online in the event that we have to do that. If we do, we'll be ready. Our administrators are working on schedules. We have delivered Chromebooks to grades 3 through 5 already. All older students already bring their computers, their Chromebooks home on a daily basis, so they would be ready. All staff and students, all staff have a Google Classroom setup. All students have been working using their Chromebooks throughout the year in class, in person. So they're just taking it home and working in that capacity. We've done this before, we did it all last year, so it's nothing new. It's just that we prefer not to, right? We would prefer to be in person. And we know how important that is, and we know how important it is for multiple reasons. If we go online, we will be providing clear messaging to parents and an estimated timeline for resuming back to in-person, with the understanding that we don't control the virus, but the virus controls the timeline. So what we do each day is we evaluate to see where we're at, and we look at all the different variables, and we see how we can try to remain open if that makes sense, and go from there. As hard as this news is to hear tonight, I'm encouraged by one thing. The mathematical model from OHSU predicts that the virus will be out of our system to a large degree by the end of February at the latest. So if school is disrupted, it might be for a relatively short period of time. That's an improvement from last year at this time, and we weren't sure what we were looking at, if we'll be able to return back to in-person. So I'm encouraged that if we do have to do it, it'll be a short period of time. It could be as little as a week to 10 days, or as much as to the end of February. We just won't know until we understand what we're looking at. That's my report, and I'm happy to answer questions on
My question has to do with, as you talked about sending Chromebooks home with students.
Yeah.
I believe last year when we had the entire district at home, are the hotspots going out to the same families that required them last year?
Hotspots are available to anyone who requests them. And so in many cases, it'll be the same families, and then there could be others that we.
So we notified them that they can notify the district that they need the help with the hotspot.
That's
so
correct.
Their kids can be students can be online.
Yes, and we'll also be messaging when schools, if we make that decision, there'll be some messaging that goes out in terms of, what to schedule, what to expect, and then any support or anything else that they need in terms of hotspots, that kind of thing, to contact the office. So that message will go out here.
Thank you.
Also food, how we will handle food in that case, and meals, will they be delivered? All of those contingency variables will be communicated to families, put on their website, put it out everywhere so that people can know what to do and who to contact if they have questions.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I have a couple questions, Paul.
Okay.
So you sent out the video. First of all, I think that was received very well. That's appreciated. And I think the more transparent that we could be, the better. I certainly think we're making some efforts there. And I am wondering if we could, the COVID numbers that are on the school district website, the last update before today's was back on 12/13, I believe, December 13th. So I'm wondering if we can, especially as Omicron takes hold, or however you want to say it. I'm seeing it at work. I know they're seeing it at school, and maybe even more often than weekly, have that updated. And a question I got from the parent, a parent, was, are those numbers kids and staff combined? And if the triggers, from my understanding, is it's actually both. If a certain amount of kids have to homeschool, obviously one teacher is going to have a really hard time teaching basically two separate classes. But could we separate those, the staff and the kids? And could you give us, and I know there's a lot of variables and can't just put a hard number on, if this many staff are out, we have to go to online training, but maybe some sort of metric that the parents could follow along as the cases, well, hopefully they don't progress, but if they progress.
Sure.
And then the other question I had is what role do rapid tests play in? Will they shorten the amount of quarantine time? Or is it just a set number of days once you test positive? How is that?
Sure. So I was informed today from our technology director that website was updated today with that information.
Yes.
He was off last week, and so he came back and updated that today. Being able to disaggregate the data, we can look at that, and that's perfectly fine. Right now we're looking at pretty swiftly moving conditions, rapidly changing conditions. So on Friday, we had 19% of our elementary school out. Today, we have 22%. 70,
Kids or staff?
that's staff. So, or excuse me, that's kids. So we had 79 students out today at the elementary school. And we have 8 staff out today at the elementary school. So right now we are, now that's not necessarily all COVID, so there's different reasons, but we're going to be looking at this tomorrow and seeing where we're at, seeing what different options we can have, and seeing if this continues to grow. But my point is this is changing really rapidly daily, and so we will try to update it as much as we can. But our staff are pretty inundated with trying to give direction around contact tracing, testing, quarantining, all of those different pieces. It's taking a lot of our time. In terms of tests, we are doing tests at school for those who need them or that want them. However, we are getting to the point where our staff are doing that full time because there's so many different families and kids that are doing that. So we might get to the point where we're not able to continue to do that, especially the test to stay. But Kathy is in charge. I put Kathy Emmert in charge of everything COVID to be the one contact person. So anybody who has a concern calls her and she gives them the most updated information. And she's working with Marion County Health and talks to them almost daily, getting advice and giving them the updates. So we feel that staff is doing an outstanding job considering they are inundated and sometimes can do little else but work with COVID.
Hey, Brad, I have a question for you. How many of those students that are out on COVID are actually using the online services right now?
A lot of them are not. So that's, there's a variety of reasons for that, but a lot of students are either just sick and not wanting to do school because they're sick and they don't feel like it. Or some of them are on, but there's not out of that number, we still don't have most of them online.
Okay, do you, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, if we need to look to see what our options are in terms of how many students are out for what reason and how long, and does that necessitate, and are we able to put them all online or not? And if not, because of all the different variables of can teachers do both, then that's also going to be a potential trigger for us for moving to an online model. So as you can see,
when you and I talked last Wednesday, we talked about the quarantine time between what CDC says and what Oregon Health Authority says. Have they came in alignment yet?
They're getting closer. So the message I received from ODE today was they're starting to work together, get aligned, but there's still some disconnect. And so Kathy right now is working on what Marion County Health is telling us regardless if that's updated from CDC or not. So we're just going based on our county, what they recommend.
And is that still 10 days?
No, it's 5 days.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Brad, this is Tracy. Can you repeat to me what the quarantine requirements are, please?
Requirements?
Quarantine.
For quarantine, I don't have everything in front of me, but if a student is exhibiting symptoms, then they have to quarantine for 5 days. And then there's a potential for being able to test after that to see if they can come back. The test to stay model is somewhat challenging to implement just because of the sheer numbers of people and the lack of staff and testing. But that's in theory what we're trying to do, is being able to have students come back sooner so that they can and do so through testing that's showing that they're no longer exhibiting symptoms.
Only reason I was asking, Brad, is just to double check, because as you all know, I've been affected by COVID, and that lines up with what I'm being told as well.
If there are no other questions, we'll move to new business. As board members, we've been given the letters of interest. So I'm asking that the board first read through the letters of interest. And then on the 3x5 card that I've provided you, if you would be kind enough to write your first choice. And we'll just do that to begin with. So we'll take about a 5-minute break at this point, so you may do that. And for those that are attending online, would you please use your message box and send it to our board secretary, and she'll put your 3x5 card, name on the 3x5 card. So we'll take a short break here.
My
Here we go.
Kathy just said that they could hear us.
Okay. How's Jackie doing?
She's doing a little better than I am, Terry.
Okay, buddy.
I'm getting text messages here.
Probably telling us to shut up.
Probably. Oh, yeah. I'll curtail. I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself.
Brad says there's internet problems.
Yeah, the meeting was lagging a couple of times on my end when Brad was
Mine
talking.
too. I could hear him. I just couldn't see him speak. I mean, it looked like he was frozen.
Yeah, same here. But the audience can hear everything.
Yeah.
I guess they can only hear us, you and me. They can't hear the anybody in the background.
Well, should we tell each other jokes?
Just got a text. They lost the meeting. We only have you and me here.
Well, Brad says he can
Yikes.
hear. Brad says he can hear us.
Okay. So can Mrs. Emmerich.
Yeah, okay.
Hello.
Okay. Okay.
And so at this point in time, we will entertain a motion for position 3.
Okay. What were the other choices? Who? What? I mean, what did you write down?
The choices that came back are Dewey Robbins, Eric Fisk, Dewey Robbins.
Okay.
But we still need a motion to vote.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we what's the word I want to use? Appoint Dewey Robbins to fill in chair position number 3 until what is it? June 30th of 2023.
Is there a second? And we have a second from Fred. So at this point, we will take our vote. Tracy? Terry?
Aye.
Fred? Kate Jones, aye. And that carries. So we have now appointed Dewey Robbins to be our new 3 board member. At this time, I would like to thank everyone that participated and put in applications. This position runs, and these positions, position 1 and position 3 run until June 30th of 2023. Generally, the election for those positions are in May. So the date is in March when you can sign up to run for the positions for the next go around, and that it'll be positions 1 and 3 that will be opening. At this time, I'm going to ask Dewey to come on up since he is here, and I'm going to ask him to take the oath of office. So I'll let you read it to us.
I, Dewey Robbins, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Oregon and the laws thereof and the policies of the Jefferson School District during my term. I will faithfully and impartially discharge the responsibilities of the office of school board members to the best of my ability.
You'll fill that in and sign it. I'm going to ask our 2 board members that I'm going to change around at this point 7 and 8 on our agenda, and we'll take comments from the audience shortly, but I'd like those 2 that are online, if they have anything they want to share, to do it at this point, and then we'll be going on from that point.
Okay.
I would love nothing more to speak, but the more I do, the more I cough. So I'm going to reserve any comments.
Terry,
And Kay,
do you have any comments?
yeah, Kay, I think I'll I'll just wait till the next board meeting, being is kind of messed up with the internet and everything, and we'll just I'll let you guys just carry on.
All right, thank you.
I don't know yet.
over 75% of COVID deaths, they were for comorbidities. My concern is this is cold and flu season. I understand that you have to go by certain regulations of,
Feels like, hi, is that my 2 minute? One more minute? Okay. That there's specifically in this region is an era of being overly cautious, and our kids are paying an absolute price for it. Adults can go play sports, can go do things, but our kids aren't able to do things, and they're the ones penalizing, and we're gonna suffer in 5 years for it. They're suffering for it now. So as a parent, my concern is why the heck are we treating it differently this year when it's really the same symptoms as it's been for many years? You have over hundreds of millions of dollars made by the pharmaceuticals on over-the-counter cold and flu medicine. It can be treated with that. So as a parent, those were all my concerns. I ran over.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have, were there any comments online that needed to be shared, Karen? Okay. At this time, we'll go to board comments. So Fred, I'm gonna let you go first.
Okay, and so I did visit with Rick Martin at the high school, but I don't know if, and there's a couple of attendees on there that I want to give thanks to, and I don't know if they can hear me or not, so I'm gonna save it for the next board meeting. I can tell you I had an absolutely wonderful visit, and do we know if the camera's working? The camera's not working either? Okay, so I can't even go up. I'll bring that, it's not gonna make it, that's gonna be
But Fred, you can share at the next leadership meeting about the thank yous for the candy.
Yeah, well, and it's, I'll just summarize it and get into details during our next board meeting, but I had an absolutely wonderful visit, and every time I visit schools, I'm impressed. I'm gonna say the details, but the only other thing I had is, I was wondering, we had two policies that we, and I don't know the correct verbiage, but we took them from the consent agenda. We're going to do a second read. And I don't see those on.
They're going back to the policy committee, and it will be meeting next week.
Okay.
And so it will come to the February meeting.
Okay, and that was my other question is half of our policy.
Right, and so I will check with Mr. Robbins when we get done here and see which committees he's willing to serve on.
Okay.
I'll be willing to serve on it. I've served on it before, and I served on it with Melissa, so I'm pretty up to speed on how that process goes. So.
We'll get you on the list.
Yeah, that's fine.
I was gonna say, can we write it down? But we don't have to vote on that, right?
No, that's just an appointment.
Okay.
Okay.
And then the only other thing I had is, I haven't heard if there's any, we got a lot going on, but I think it's important that we have some student involvement with the board and whenever you can get to that, but maybe next board meeting or something like that. So that's all I have.
I want to add to what Fred has shared. I want to add to what Brad stated earlier as a thank you to Jefferson Baptist Church for the gift that they had to all of the school staff in December. We appreciate you honoring our staff here at Jefferson School District. And since this is school board honoring month, I received today, and I believe Fred did too, a thank you. Keith Bob, you may be proud of the work you do, the person you are, and the difference you make. And I appreciate that. And I'm planning to figure out where I'm going to put it, where keep me and remind me.
We have one for each board.
Okay. So that's exciting. And then the other thing I wanted to bring up, and if any of the current board members are interested in serving in position 12 of the OSBA board. And if not, It's just to let you know that that position needs to still be filled. I appreciate all the interest from the community to support the school district and to be interested to serve on the board. And remind people that next May is the election for the positions, and come participate, listen online, ask questions, and you can even go to Oregon School Board Association and view the videos that they have on what school boards do to train and to get an idea of exactly what entails. And if there's no other comment from board members, I would like to adjourn this meeting at 7:22.
Bye, Tracy.
Hey, Fred, thank you very much. I appreciate it, brother.
Hey, no problem. Hope you get there soon.
Thanks, partner.